Welcome to video 3. In this video we'll be looking at ratios, fractions, decimals and percentages. First of all, we need to be able to work interchangeably with terminating decimals and their corresponding fractions. Say we have 3.5. Now 3.5 is a decimal. If we were to express this as a fraction, first of all, well, you could see straight away that it's 7 over 2, or we could do it the proper way, and we could say it's 3 and a half. 3 and a half this way, this is a mixed fraction. Now, the integer here, the 3, we can actually convert that into a fraction as well. So we do 3 times 2, which will give us 6 over 2 for the 3, plus 1 over 2. And that gives 7 over 2. If I gave you 0.375 and asked you to convert that into a fraction, well, you can't do exactly what we did here on the left. But what we can do is we can see that 0.001 is the same as 1 over 1,000. And therefore, 0.375 is the same as 375 over 1,000. And then you can go on here to simplify. If we divide by 25 on the top and bottom, on the top we get 4 times 3 plus 3, which is 15, and on the bottom we get 40. And then we can go on to simplify this further by dividing by 5 again, and dividing by 5 again will get us 3 over 8. And 3 over 8 is equal to 0.375. If I gave you 7 over 12 and asked you to convert this into a decimal, well, we put the 7, we divide it by 12. 12 goes into 7 0 times, so we should put in an extra 0 after the decimal place. Now we know 12 goes into 65 times, and there is a decimal place here. The remainder is 10. 12 goes into 100 8 times. And the remainder is 4. 12 goes into 40 3 times, and the remainder is 4. 12 goes into 40 3 times, and the remainder is 4. And you can see this will continue, so our answer is 0.583 recurring. And this dot on the top shows that the 3 recurs, so it's 0.5833333, and this will keep going on. Now, if we had 5 over 8 and we wanted to convert that into a decimal, well, we put the 5 in here and divide by 8. 8 goes into 5 no time, so we put in a 0.0 just to make life easier. We put a decimal point on the top as well. 8 goes into 50 how many times? Well, 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 6 is 48, so it goes in 6 times, remainder 2. 8 goes into 20 2 times, remainder 4. 8 goes into 40 5 times, remainder 0. So 5 over 8 equals 0.625. This is what we call a terminating decimal. This is not a terminating decimal because 0.5833333, well, it doesn't terminate because we have loads of 3's. In addition, you need to be able to convert between recurring decimals and their fractions. So for example, if we have 2.58 and the 58 is recurring, well, that means it's 2.585858, and like so. If we want to get rid of the 58, we can do it by subtraction. And first of all, we need to get the recurring part on the left of the decimal place. And to do that, we multiply in this case by 100. So if we say let x equal 2.58 recurring, we'd have 100x equals 258.585858. And we know x equals 2.585858. And if we take those away, we get 99x equals 256. And x equals 256 over 99. Simple as that. However, if we had, for example, 2.3578, and this part was recurring, and so we could say, first of all, we need to isolate the recurring bit on the right. So we'd say if we let x equal that, 10x equals 23.578, and you can see everything on the right is the recurring bit. Then we want the recurring bit on the left, so we say 10,000x equals 23578.578 recurring. And so if we rewrite that here below, 10,000x equals 23578.578.578.578, and we can say here below 10x equals 23.578.578.578, and if we take those away, we get 9,990x equals 23555, and x equals 23555 divided by 9,990, and that is the same as the recurring decimal we had at the top here. Now it's time for a bit of ratio. So if we said that we have 1.8 kilograms of cake, and this is a special type of cake that is only made out of flour and butter. I know it's unrealistic, but let's go with that. And we put flour and butter in the ratio of 5:4. Now that means for every 5 kilograms or grams or whatever you like, every 5 kilograms of flour goes with 4 kilograms of butter. So if we had 10 kilograms of flour, we would have 8 kilograms of butter. Now if we had the whole thing as 1.8 kilograms, well, we look at our ratio here and we say that in total we have 5 plus 4 equals 9 parts. So we have 9 parts that make up our 1.8 kilograms. Well, let's just convert into grams because it's easier. That divided by 9 gives you 200 grams per part. Well, if we look at the flour, it represents 5 out of 9 of the 1,800 grams. It represents 5 parts, and we have 200 grams per part. So we could say either flour equals 5 times 200 grams, which is equal to 1,000 grams of flour. Or alternatively, we can say that it's 5 out of 9 of the total, so 5 over 9 of 1,800 grams, which will also give you 1,000 grams. And notice here, one second. And notice here that of is replaced by a multiplication sign. So we had 5 over 9 times 1,800. For the butter, we could look at it similarly. We have 4 over 9 of 1,800 grams, which is equal to 4 over 9 times 1,800, which is 800 grams. So we can tell now that the 1.8 kilogram cake, this fantasy cake, is made out of 1,000 grams of flour and 800 grams of butter. Now, if we said that we have a pizza, and we had three friends A, B and C sharing the pizza in a ratio of 7 to 8 to 3, and we looked at the pizza, we'll say, has a radius of 20 centimeters, not too big, I know, and we wanted to work out the area eaten by each of these three friends. Well, first of all, we look at this, we say 7 plus 8 plus 3 gives us a total of 18 parts, and we know that the total area is pi r squared, which is equal to pi times 20 times 20, which is equal to 400 pi centimeters squared. And then from there we can say that A ate 7 over 18 of the 400 pi, which gives you 1400 pi over 9 centimeters squared. For B, it will give you 8 over 18 times 400 pi. For C, you'll get 3 over 18 times 400 pi. If you do those, you get 1600 pi over 9 centimeters squared for B, and 200 pi over 3 centimeters squared for C. And that is quite simple. Now if we add it to the question to make it such that C eats 350 pi centimeters squared of pizza, what is the radius of the pizza? Well, we can say that we know C eats 3 over 18 of the whole, so 3 over 18 times the area equals 350 pi. We can simplify. 3 over 18 is the same as 1 over 6, and so 1 over 6 times the area, which we know is pi r squared, equals 350 pi. We can now divide by pi on both sides, and we get a sixth of the radius squared equals 350. The radius squared equals 350 times 6, which is 2100. And the radius, therefore, is the square root of 2100, which is 10 root 21 centimeters. And that is your final answer. Finally, we have percentages. If I gave you a percentage 21.8%, and I said I wanted to find 21.8% of 348 pounds, well, it's important to know that each percentage represents a multiplier, and the multiplier is given by the percentage divided by 100. So in this case, 21.8 divided by 100. And quite simply, when you divide by 100, you just move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So that's the same as 0.218. And now we know from our previous problem that of means times. So now our working is just simply 0.218 times 348 pounds. And that will give you 75.864. And we know we're talking about money here, so we should round to the nearest penny, and we can use the approximately equal to, and this is a strong approximation, whereas this represents a weak approximation. £75.86, and that would be 21.8% of 348. Similarly, if we say 49% of our total is £23.96, then we can say that we know the multiplier for 49% is 0.49, and we know our total, let's call it x, and that gives 23.96. So we can derive an equation out of this. We can say 0.49 times our total x is 23.96. And then, quite simply, it's algebra here. If we take the 0.49 to the right, x equals 23.96 divided by 0.49, which gives us 48.897959, and we can round that to 48.90. That's £48.90. So now we can say our total is £48.90. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more maths videos.